Hello. How are you doing this Sunday afternoon, evening, really? 8:30, we're hanging out. It's Pardonable Live. It is me and my co-host, Alex, coming in hot. Alex, how are you doing today? What's up, dude?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Good, man. Tons of news that just happened this weekend. Normally it's always during the week, but this weekend's been pretty wild. So I think we're going to have a slam pack show tonight. But I definitely want to get into the Charlie Kirk thing with all of that, because it seems like all of the things that are happening revolve around a particular kind of conflict, a particular kind of attitude, and a particular kind of distrust. I guess I would just say overall distrust. But before we get into that, I just want to tell everybody going to like and subscribe to Pardonable Live on YouTube. We are on X, we are on Kick, we are on Rumble. Coming in, give us some love on Rumble. Chat will be open, so anybody want to comment. I always forget, Alex, to tell people that we're going to be paying attention to the chat until someone from Kick drops in and calls us names, and then I always like to show.
Let's shame us on Rumble, please.
You mean my cousin coming in on Kick and calling us names? Yeah, man, it's been a wild week. And so I think and we talked about this, just trying to keep it centralized into one theme, but it seems like everything can be absorbed into these like particular three themes, like this the conflict, the Israel-Gaza conflict, the distrust in all government, distrust in all organizations, and the confusion about what we got going on. But other than that, man, Christmas is right around the corner. Are you all set? You ready to go?
I'm ready to tune out of the Matrix, which is what the government wants. Why they're double timing the psychological operations. Yeah, it's kind of like where we can always count on death taxes and Thomas Massey complaining about the continuing resolutions going into Christmas break. We can kind of count on those three, so we can expect Thomas Massey to start piping up the next 2 weeks.
That'll be fun to watch too. That's always a nice intertwined thing. I like to see him with his counter, his little digital counter. Oh, dude, I should get one and put it behind me. That would be cool.
The national debt, real time.
Yeah, instead of putting a Santa hat on Boba Fett, which was my newest Christmas edition. Santa. I was like, this will be festive. Our boy Nicky Fuentes has a Christmas tree in the background. The least I can do is put a Christmas hat on Boba Fett. Oh man, dude. Yeah. Oh, the other thing, I was talking about Christmas. I set out some Christmas gifts for my wife, and my dog is getting this bad routine because it's apparently we're getting January's weather here in December. It's been brutally cold. And we got snow 2 weeks ago and it hasn't melted. It's just stayed frozen. And so he's been cooped up.
If you're on the wrong side of that horizon line, you get any sun after 2 o'clock, you're fucked.
Oh, it's done. It's done. And it's cold like it should be. Like we don't know, like we get cold. It's the Northeast and we'll get snow, but then the snow will come and it'll melt and then we'll get snow again. But never do we get snow and it just stays because it's staying around 14 degrees every day. That's like January. That's not December.
Yeah. That's a different type of frigid cold where it's like post holidays empty cold.
Yeah. This is at least we have the holidays to look forward to. Well, it's nasty outside, but dude, this podcast is going to save my life come January because it's going to be the only thing keeping me happy because it's going to get brutal.
Yeah, seriously.
Speaking of keeping us happy, we got a clip. I figured we'd go right into it. We got a clip. This is pulled from the Jimmy Dore show. Big fan of Jimmy Dore. And they're talking about the CEO being extra happy. So if this gets you in the holiday spirit, just let you know the CEO of Palantir has been in the holiday spirit with his own kind of snow. So check this out. You like that setup?
Beautiful transition. I love the segue.
RT says Wild Palantir's drug addict CEO scares audience. You want to see how he scares the audience?
What is the biggest problem in this culture? I'll tell you the biggest problem. No one believes the institutions are credible. And why don't they believe they're? And I struggle to believe they're credible too, because these business leaders make completely stupid decisions. And they get bailed out. A year later, they're getting huge bonuses. What do the American people get? Nothing. And that's a huge problem. Like, if you...
Creepboss, he's even got like the Kramer hair. What's the deal with like these super rich CEOs just looking unkempt? Like they just can't get it together.
Just right off the heels of why can't people trust our institutions? I don't know, because a guy who's in the head of the biometric surveillance state is on cocaine.
Yeah, that might be your first sign. I do like the fact at least he's self-aware. It's like no one trusts anything anymore. That's like why aren't they trusting us anymore?
Yeah. As I act like Kramer walking through Jerry's door.
Exactly, dude. Dude, it's what, and it just gets worse. So it's so bad.
So I think the real
first of all, he totally cares about the American people getting nothing. He's so concerned with that. He doesn't even have time to notice that he's jumping around in his chair like a tumbleweed on crack.
Is like I made a lot of decisions when we began talking. Annoying each other 10 years ago.
Look at
Hopefully, I'm annoying you as much as 10 years ago.
Look at him.
Or more.
What?
When I made a...
Why is he jumping around like a magician who just had a bird get loose in his pants? You see this guy jumping around?
Dude, do you know what this reminds me of? And this sounds so bad. Do you remember last year at the Libertarian Caucus? Not last year, the year before. And Termat came out off. Was it Termat came out when
Michael
he was on gummies?
Yeah, dude. No, that was
no, it wasn't Termat. Who was it? Rechtenwald. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And he came out on gummies. I forgot what he said, but I just remember watching, being like, "Oh no! Oh God, no!" Oh man, I could not imagine. Like, I understand like doing something where you're in front of people and being like, "Well, I gotta." Have a cocktail to take the edge off. But I could imagine doing gummies or Coke before doing something like this. This is why, like, I drink coffee when we do the podcast. And even then I move around in my chair a lot because I'm just hyped up on coffee. Nothing like this guy. This guy's having a blast.
When we began talking, annoying each other 10 years ago, hopefully I'm annoying you as much as 10 years ago, or more.
What is that? Do you think he notices that he's like, anyway, yeah.
This reminds me of that clip when oh shit, the Macron was caught with the president of Great Britain in the UN.
No, I don't know that one.
When they were hiding the little cocaine bag, the press came in and it like they were basically doing keep ups. They had the bag on the table and they were like moving it.
Yeah. I remember that. I freaking love it, man. Yeah, everybody's just like, here's the thing. Everyone's like, please, rich CEOs. They're like, sometimes they're just like you and they don't have it together. And this guy clearly doesn't have it together.
He's childless.
Is that
that's an unhinged middle-aged man
on coke? Yeah, and probably something else, man. I've had some buddies who were really into coke. And they weren't even like this, man. I mean, they were getting after it. They were ambitious, I would say. Yeah. But I don't know what this is. I don't recognize this. This is like he's on coke and has to pee really bad. Or hemorrhoids. He's got hemorrhoids. He can't figure out a comfortable sit.
He's going to be pissing gold.
I thought that would be a great clip. You sent me that clip and I was like, this will be perfect for what we're going to talk about tonight. Because the overall theme, and there is some seriousness to this theme, but we're going to try to crack jokes throughout it. But this giant division, people are calling it the podcast war. I called it the Charlie Kirk Wars because I think that really sums up it. Well, actually, it doesn't sum it up at all, but at least puts a center point pin other than just podcast wars. Because what I've noticed is all the lefty podcasts that pop up, they're not even in the chat anymore. No one even cares. Like, dude, no one cares. And I thought, I was trying to think, there was recently someone came out and talked about this lefty podcast and how low ratings it was. That it was astronomical. Oh, I think it was Chris Cuomo. That's who it was. It was Chris Cuomo. And I think our boy Clint Russell compared the numbers with Chris Cuomo, and it's bad. It's bad. So left wingers, podcasters, I'm going to be praying for them.
They really don't. They don't. To your point, though, they don't register. They don't, because you kind of expect the presumptuousness with which their arguments kind of fall flat, and they're just kind of bitching and moaning, and they go after themselves. They don't. They're not really part of the national conversation. At least with the right splitting, it's something that no one expected, and people are interested in tuning in and see how it bifurcates. You know, whether it's MAGA or MAGA, and then everything in between.
The other thing with this right wing split too, and we'll probably talk. At least I know I'll probably talk more in depth on it. It's not exactly clear where the motives lie a lot of time, and so it's hard to give grace where you think grace might be needed, especially when you have people involved like Erika Kirk, or you're like, she did lose her husband. Even if you're like, no, she's a Mossad plant, and she was never loved him in the first place. It's like, yeah, I have a hard time believing in that. But yeah, we're gonna get to that, because she is there's something, she's kind of like our something gives me the Palantir vibes with her, and so I do want to talk about that. But it's hard to draw the line on some aspects of this. Do you want to get into should we do Nick Fuentes, because that was another big one? Let's start with Nick Fuentes, because he's involved in this podcast war as well. And so everybody listening, I'm pretty sure everybody's familiar with Nick Fuentes at this point in time. Our buddy Nicky went on old Piers Morgan. Almost said Piersy Morgan.
Your local
what'd you say?
Your local Nazi.
We're talking about Pierce? Oh, never mind.
No.
Pierce, it turns out, is a cuck. I don't know if you knew this. Did you hear about this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know, and I feel bad for him now, because not only did he get destroyed by a 28-year-old, then all of his stuff about his family came out, and just friggin' sad. Hold on, I gotta show this real quick. Michael Giuliano came and said hemorrhoids from Bridget, which could be true. Bridget McCrone came in with the hemorrhoids, getting pegged by Bridget.
Don Trogno's got some mean hemorrhoids.
Yeah. All right, so let's go with this first clip. And this is the start off. So I saved this clip because I think this sums up a little bit of the attitude within this podcast or war thing. And I'll go into details first, but I want you to watch this, because it says a friggin' ton about the world we live in now versus the world we lived in 10, 20 years ago. Check this out. I'm going to make it big.
Do it up. It's not playing.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest, I couldn't stop laughing. I literally laughed out loud while watching this in my living room. My wife was like, "What are you watching? What kind of TikToks you watching over there?" And I was like, "Oh God, these aren't cooking TikToks." It was all right. So I want to talk about this because I think this sets the tone for at least the entire Nick Fuentes. I didn't watch the whole Piers Morgan interview. Did you?
No, I didn't watch the whole thing.
I didn't either. And I'm gonna be flat out honest. Not a giant Nick Fuentes fan. Not because of like, oh, he's controversial and he's anti-Semitic and he says all this stuff. I'm just not a giant Nick Fuentes fan because I'm not 20. You know what I'm saying? Like this is it's hard for me to take. Like I think he's got his own thing going on, and he's obviously a strong voice because he's saying things that a lot of people are thinking in some aspects, but not saying out loud. So he's got the kind of that vibrato of saying the thing that people might be thinking. And he's a cult of personality. You can tell he's quick-witted, he's smart. But he's like 28. I don't take advice from 28-year-olds. I know it sounds, I just don't. Alex, you're not 28, right?
No, 31, man.
Yeah, I know. Once you cross that 30 thing, I take you a lot more seriously. But 28, he also kind of looks like he's 24. But that might just be those great Nazi genetics.
His social level, his social acquisition is kind of in the 20s, lower 20s.
Yeah, you can tell he was raised on the internet. Like, you can tell that.
Right.
It just has
Exactly.
that internet feel.
For sure.
But I also understand why, like, younger guys and mostly younger guys like Nick Fuentes. But here's the thing that I noticed. So you have two different spectrums here. You have kind of the boomer, neoliberal aspect of one side of being like, can you please clarify that this is what did you mean by this? And he goes full bore in it, which is not something he's done in because I listened to the Tucker interview. He was on with Dave Smith. I listened to that, and he was on with Steven Crowder recently, and I listened to that interview. And all of those he responds in good faith in every one of them, and he sounds like a moderate. And so I thought it was interesting that because those people came back in good faith. And where I think Piers Morgan did, he just did the normal mainstream media kind of establishment, like, here's some controversial clips. Your mind's gonna be blown when we show these. And I think I'm gonna say this, and I want to get your opinion. I think Nick's response was perfectly correct. I think he responded the only way he should have. That is the only way to do it.
Yeah, he didn't give up an inch. He didn't apologize. He basically threw everything back in the face of Piers in terms of like all this grandstanding boomer righteousness. He just basically just said, yeah, we're done with it. And I won't say too much until we allude to playing the clips. But yeah, he just didn't give an inch, and that's kind of what you got to do.
Yeah, I think. But here's the thing: the reason why I think he's resonating is because dude, I'm feeling that. Like, I don't care anymore. Like, I don't care about whatever this was. And I think that stems back, for me, everything's like a hinge point is 2020. Because once 2020 happened and everybody got a peek behind the veil and was like, oh, none of these people are serious. Like, I can pinpoint it to the day when all of Congress kneeled with kente cloth. And I was like, oh, so none of you, it's not just one or two or Nancy Pelosi. None of you are serious. This is all completely, there's like two people in Congress, MTG and Massey. You guys are the only ones who are serious, apparently. Everybody else is playing a game. And I'm the pawn they're playing with. So that was the point in time where now I don't care what anyone says anymore. Like, you got to do extra effort to get me to take you seriously if you're going to pretend that any of this is real, any of this makes any sense, or we should even care. Sorry,
I'll know when they're serious if they go against APAC or they go against pharmaceuticals. That's pretty much it.
It's a weird litmus test. And you know, the funny thing is, and this is where it gets into our this is a broad, again, we're just going to spill off into all the other conversations, because the same thing I keep seeing recurring, especially with the Erika Kirk, the Candace Owens, the Tucker, all of these podcast wars, is it's not my fault that what you just said is a great litmus test. It's not your fault. It's not your fault that you're like, oh, AIPAC, so what do you hate Israel and you want Israel to not exist? You want Jews to not exist? Are you pharmaceuticals? You want grandma to die? You anti-vax? And it's that point where we're like, no, we didn't create this test. You did. You did, because all we did was like, hey, this seems kind of weird. And then we get called names. So that litmus test is great, not because we decided that's what it should be. It's because they decided that's the test.
The litmus test was created with which the things you can't talk about, and you created that list.
Exactly. That's it. It's not our fault. It's not our fault.
They created the groundwork. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, and so this is gonna be a recurring theme tonight, man, and I'm gonna keep harping on it. It's just gonna be an over and over and over again.
Yeah.
We got this. This is just a fun. So this is how it ended, and I thought this did sum it up. We're just gonna play this one, real quick, and then I got one more that I want to throw in here. But this is how the whole thing ended, and again, this is why Nick is doing such a great job, especially for the younger kids and for myself. Like, I understand why they like him. It's because he's summing up a lot of how people feel about politics and cultural, discourse in general. So take a look at this. Well, probably should have volume. There we go. Oh, hold on.
Not playing from my end.
Oh, my bad. Can you hear that?
Nope.
I feel like it's my new day. I'm like a rookie. It's like the first day here.
Bear with us at home, folks.
I had the wrong thing. Here we go. I had the wrong thing clicked.
I think we've got a lot nearer to what the real Nick Fuentes is in the last 2 hours than we probably have seen from your other recent interviews. Would you agree?
No, I mean, the clip thing, we've done the clip thing. We've all seen the clip show. Everyone's seen the clips. You think you're the first one to do the ADL rap sheet. So here you said this, and then here you said that. I've been playing that game for 10 years. So this is honestly more of the same, to tell you the truth.
Nick Fuentes.
Just nothing. Nothing.
No, just ends it. You know, he's so like Pierce wanted to end the interview like an hour ago. And this is the end. He's at least like, well, doesn't this feel like we got somewhere? Like people really know who you are? And I think what he was doing was like, oh, he thinks like this is the real Nick. And we finally got to see the real Nick because he just was like, all right, okay, boomer. He okay boomered him the entire time. And Pierce didn't pick up on it at all.
Nick looks like, even just in this clip here, just paused. The demeanor between the two, one of them looks like a spring chicken, the other one looks like he's just dilapidated, like he's on death's doorstep. Like, oh, I'm ready to tap out. I can't do this anymore. It was like, let's go another hour. Come on.
And I guarantee you what, because it was so easy for him, because he just went, he just doubled down. The entire interview was him just doubling down.
And that's what happens when you have 10 years of seasoned broadcast experience and you haven't even cracked 30 yet. Like, he is so well trained at this point for the future.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. He also is not, this is the thing that does surprise me with where he's at now. Because I know Piers Morgan's show is pretty big. As far as like what it goes, it's pretty well known. It's like a TV show, but I see it on podcasts all the time. But he's been on Crowder. He's been on all these other smaller podcasts. This probably was the biggest thing he's done. Like the biggest show that he's done. And instead of kind of trying to play the same, like ease up, be a moderate character, he chose to double down on this one. And again, I think it was the right choice.
You can make the argument. I think Tucker was probably the same par as Pierce in that regard.
Good point. Yeah. You could say that. I totally forgot. Yeah. You could say that was probably the same thing. But as far as like, well, here's the thing. I don't think normies really listen to Tucker. Maybe like a small percentage.
I think he was also on one of Patrick Bet-David's roundtables. So.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
But again, I don't think normies. Well,
yeah,
probably more so
like
that.
libtard lefty normies don't.
They're
most of the mainstream.
Yeah, but they'll watch this, which this was like this interview. This is why I think maybe Pierce did this on purpose, because this interview got all of the lefties excited. They loved it, dude. They loved this interview. And so Nick gave everybody what they wanted. I thought that summed it up pretty well. We do have this other clip I wanted to show real quick. We're going to cruise through this. I'm pretty sure this is just AI, the graphics for sure. I don't know if this, dude, we talked about this. I don't know if this was an actual conversation in the interview, but we're going to watch it anyway because it's Christmas season and we got to tie it back into Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Why did you say I look like that pigeon lady from the movie Home Alone 2?
Well, because you do look like that pigeon lady, Pierce. In fact, you look exactly like that pigeon lady.
Bro, he does. He looks exactly like that pigeon lady.
Kevin.
Oh my God, he does. Anyway, that's a fantastic clip. I want to share that with everybody.
If you're not careful, he's going to throw a seat on you. Central Park.
For real. You know, Pierce is living in like the attic of an orchestra. I'm pretty sure that's where he lives. And while his wife is in the penthouse. I don't want to make fun of Piers Morgan for his wife, like in all the other dudes. It doesn't feel right to me. But again, it's Piers Morgan. What are you doing, man? What are you doing?
Well, the only courtesy I'll give him, and this is a fair point that I think that Dave mentioned a couple episodes. It could be because of the grace he's giving him because he's been invited on the show repeated times. But I think part of the allure with Pierce is that he's one of the few adjusted boomers that's actually trying to take a grasp at the podcast world, whereas most of them won't even entertain it. So at least he's trying to learn or trying to like come down to the level to understand and empathize with people under his age. I think he's trying to learn the new media landscape. So that's the only credit I'll give him.
Yeah, dude, I actually agree with that as well. Because you're absolutely right. It's not only is he just trying to engage, he's doing a good job. His panel shows are not bad. He knows he picks the right people. And him, to be honest, him having Nick Fuentes is kind of kudos to him in general. Now, he went about the interview differently than I would have. But at least he had Nick on. Like that says a lot for where he comes from. Like he's come leaps and bounds. He's doing everything we wish Bill Maher would do. But it's not, Bill Maher's kind of, but not really. So you could take all these libtard boomers and throw them in the category. And they all kind of flesh out. Pierce is probably doing the best job. I do want to point out one thing, because this is going to involve all of this podcaster worth stuff. It would be easy for people like people in the libertarian camp or the anti-interventionist camp or the anti-war camp or just the right wingers who happen to notice things. We could be defending Pierce in every aspect on this, because he sides with us in one aspect. Like he definitely doesn't like the war in Gaza. Like he seems to have fallen and been convinced by arguments from people like Dave Smith and a few others, and not convinced by Israeli propagandists. So you could be like, well, he's on our side, so don't pick on him. No, don't make fun of him. Even Nick Fuentes, you have to think like they're both on the same side of that. Well, maybe not the exact same side, but somewhere in the same shade on that argument. And that's not how we function. Like I'm not going to take one thing. Oh, we agree on this one thing, so I'm not going to criticize you on anything else. I like that about where we are in our day and age, that it's not, there's not really a shill. We don't shill.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. No one's carrying water for
exactly.
For sure.
That's the great way to put it. No one's carrying water for anything. So if like, hey, we agree on this one point, hey, good. I'm glad we agree on that one point. You screwed up the Nick Fuentes interview because you played it like a boomer. But that's going to carry over, man. That conversation is going to carry over right into all of the other conversations we have. Now, how much have you spent time with the Charlie Kirk, Erika Kirk, Candace, Tucker, all of that? How much time have you spent with this? Has it been the periphery? Have you seen a lot of it?
I've seen a decent amount of it. I've been kind of taking it in consumable chunks as the weeks progress. The most recent thing I saw was the Barry Weiss interview with Erika directly in response to Candace basically saying stop. But again, she's still not mentioning her name, so it's kind of, not really forthright. I also think the fact that she went on this show, I don't know if it was that interview or if it was a separate interview. She was basically saying, contrary to what Candace and Turning Point staffers have already concluded, that he didn't have any conversations admitting that he was in threat of being killed by Israel, which clearly the text showed. She said that he didn't, and she's like, I have his phone. It's like, well, they could have taken out the SIM card and wiped it. So, if you're not savvy enough to know that, or you're just playing ignorance, that's another conversation.
There's an angle. Actually, before we get deep into this, is going to take up a lot of time. I do want to read some comments. We got Michael Giuliano come back in. He says he likes Andrew Meyer in real life too. That's interesting because I know Andrew Meyer, and he's talking about Nick Fuentes, and I could see why they would get along, but I have a hard time believing Andrew Meyer likes Nick Fuentes. I have a very hard time believing that that's reciprocal. We also got Arm Gardner coming in, and this is a great comment. It says, winners never quit. Love that you keep grinding. Please never quit. Thank you. Arm
yes.
Gardner, very nice, dude.
Shout out.
That's such difference than what we
good energy we need for once.
Yeah. That's a nice counterbalance to what we got last week. Fantastic. For real. Let's keep this one going. So going back, so this is a big crux of the thing I wanted to talk about. And I like what you just said, because this is where it gets sensitive, and this is why I think it ties into everything. Well, it ties into everything. I think the Charlie Kirk Wars is what I'm talking about, is because it was said this week that he was a bit of the glue of the right. Like he kept everybody together. Now, I just heads up, I didn't really pay attention to TPUSA again, because I'm not Nick Fuentes' age. And so none of that really was like, I liked seeing clips of him back in the day where he'd be in campuses answering questions. And I love stuff like that. Like I like that kind of dialogue, like answer a question, because I like to think like, how would I answer it? What would be my response and stuff? And so I enjoyed Charlie Kirk's a little bit here and there, but I didn't really pay attention to Charlie unless he was on a podcast that I had already listened to. Were you a big Charlie Kirk guy?
No, I kind of took the same approach you did. I would only see him peripherally on shows that were prominent that I already had on the radar. But I also knew that he was a glue for the right because he had feet in both camps pretty steadfast. He had the respect. of the older crowds, the paleo, the neocons. He also had the respect and admiration from the younger crowds that were more MAGA or MAGA at the time. And he was well adjusted for, both media forms too.
See, that's where I wanted to go, because you said the two camps, and I'm very curious of what you think, because I think there are two camps, but I think all those two camps are bifurcated. So I feel like Charlie had a foot in all of the different camps, even the libertarian one, in some aspects, because I think he had Dave Smith on at one point in time, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And so he was a bit, it wasn't just like he had the older boomers and the younger. He had like the anti-war libertarians in this camp. He had the Palestine camp, the Israel camp. He had a foot in like everybody's camp. And I think I didn't notice that, but I think that takes a lot. Like that speaks a lot. And I think when he got assassinated, all of a sudden, when people are like, oh, it's these two fractions that are fighting. I don't think so, man. I think there's like 6 fractions that are all fighting each other. And I'm having a hard time parsing out if it is just there's the Candace side and the TPUSA side. There's the Tucker side, and then there's the Nick Fuentes side. I'm having a hard time deciding if that's actually true. Do you think there's a general 2 camp thing?
And to some extent, I think there's definitely 2 camps, but I think of those 2 camps, one camp gets into 5 smaller camps, and the other gets into another 10 smaller camps.
Okay.
So,
what's the 2 camps then?
Well, up until this point, I always thought it was like a repudiation of the neocon, Afghani, Middle Eastern conflict, war kind of faction of things, the Bush era, and then everything Trump and post into make America for, America.
Yeah.
So, but then, if you bifurcate that entire MAGA, coalition, then you start getting into, more of the, you get into more of like the Israel first kind of ones, the Christian conservative ones. You get into like the Freedom Caucus ones. You get into all these different factions of MAGA that made up that coalition. And then same thing with the neocons. You get, you get the Romneyites, you get the Cheneys, you get the Rumsfelds, you get all these minor factions that make up that entire world of the neocon right as well. And that includes the Buchananites and stuff like that too. Yeah,
that's a good point. And the reason I bring this up is because when Nick was on with Crowder, and they were talking a lot about this stuff too, the Charlie Kirk, this podcaster war. Crowder, I listen to Crowder ever so often, and he's constantly like, he had Dave Smith on recently.
Yep.
And got him, just pounding him on the fact that Dave Smith thinks Trump should be impeached. Which is a take that I don't know if I would back with Dave on that. I'm not libertarian enough to really go that far. Or at least pay attention enough to think like that's an impeachment. And I think Dave said it at a tongue-in-cheek also, because it's Dave, and I listen to a lot of Dave Smith. And it's one of those things where it's one of those things like, what if Trump gets impeached? You mean like on top of the other 5 times he's been impeached by stupid stuff? And I think Dave's point was like, if you were to impeach him, which he could be impeached and he should be impeached, then he should be impeached for starting this particular, doing these wars without Congress approval, which I think was his argument. Anyway, he brought up the fact that Nick supported the Massey MTG and Ro Khanna stuff of the releasing of the Epstein files. And Crowder's assessment against that was like, why would you side with a lefty like Ro Khanna? And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to take Nick's side on this, because he was like, because we agreed on this one issue. We want the Epstein files released. And Ro Khanna just so happens to want them too. I'm not saying a lefty, I'm siding with Democrats. And every time I hear that thing, that like, oh, but you're siding with the lefties, I get real sus, man. I would
too. It's an old paradigm.
Right? Okay, thank you.
It's an outdated paradigm. When you want accountability, whether it's an impeachable offense or not, it always boils down to, are you good on single issues? And this has to be one of the most. Like, are you covering up for satanic, child trafficking pedophiles that run our country, or are you not?
Yeah. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to. But it's affecting everything, dude. So I'm also
Yep.
I'm a fan, and this is gonna sound they're gonna be like, oh my god, I'm a fan of the Timcast show. Like I listen to Timcast every morning. It's like my morning. It's my morning mainstream media because it feels like mainstream media.
Very
It's very mild of the road middle take.
Yeah,
but he's jumped into this thing. That's like this is what normies kind of feel. I know this sounds weird, but this is what I assume normies sound like. But I like the Timcast crew. I like a lot of them on there. But even he took a side, and his big thing was Candace is evil. She's a Democrat, and she's using the Charlie Kirk thing to destroy the right wing, so we'll lose the midterms. Is his statement. And I had to sit back again, and even though I like Tim and the Timcast crew, which makes me sound milquetoast, which is fine. I was like, yeah, I don't buy that. I'm not doing that thing. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing the whole oh, you're helping the lefties, so you need to stop thing. Well, and I don't know what I feel like. If there's two camps, there's these two camps where it's you're either like, hey, I'm going to ask questions, or I'm not going to ask questions. That's what it comes down to.
Well, and also if it boils down to, are you holding your leaders accountable for crimes? It's like, what do you care about preserving the right in the midterms, or put the shoe on the other foot? What does it have to do with preserving the left during the midterms? Like, who gives a shit about right and left? We're so past that paradigm. It's so far gone that not only does it not matter, but if you really think that the current iteration of MAGA voters under 40 give two shits about conserving the Republican Party, they don't care if that party is gone tomorrow. As soon as Trump leaves office in 2028, if he's not on the ticket, or someone aligned with their values is not on the ticket, that party ceases to exist.
Yeah, for 100%. And dude,
it's a vehicle to an end.
It mimics the Nick Fuentes approach to the Piers Morgan. It's full circle again. Do you think this effect? Do you think I care with that? You called me a racist or an anti-Semite. Do you think I care about any of this stuff? And they're on the other side going like, well, you absolutely should care when I bring this up. Yeah. You should definitely care about the midterms. You should definitely care about what names people call you. You should definitely care about this stuff. And again, I think the line comes down to drawing. Like, I know we're harping on this particular concept, but it bears repeating because it constantly keeps coming back. The fact that even in this podcast where people are blaming Candace, which I get it, I don't trust Candace at all either. She's great for being a soap opera. Like, I listened to her episodes, man, and she's like, she leaves the cliffhanger on purpose. Like, there's a ton of things that are ambiguous. Why I can't talk tonight. That are there on purpose. They're like they're narrative themes. They're theatrical themes that you use to get your audience engaged. Like, I know what I'm looking at here, but I wouldn't blame her for ruining the right wing or ruining the midterms or destroying TPUSA, because had TPUSA done anything like not lie, then we wouldn't have these problems. She wouldn't have any platform to stand on. All they had to do was tell the truth. And then when she even came out with like random stuff, like the French Legion, and people would look at it and be like, I don't believe it. And it's not going to affect my midterms, because the last time she said that Charlie went to a meeting and they were talking about supporting Israel and he was backing out, all the TPUSA was like, no, he never said that. He's never going to do that. He was full blown for Israel the whole entire time. And then the texts come out. And so that's even not her fault.
Yeah, even the most charitable excuse you're going to give for boomers or people in old media is in the corporate press is like, if you're going to denounce Candace or Fuentes or anybody else for taking some of these hot button issues and just kind of speculating on them, which I thought all journalism was supposed to be, and any kind of real reporting was supposed to be, then all you have to stop doing is giving them red meat. So that means being honest, truthful, having conclusive, closed investigations, and don't leave room for speculation. As soon as we can sniff out the fact that you're lying, you're giving red meat for people to speculate on the internet.
Yeah, and it's that's exactly it. Like, it's the level of, this sounds weird because one of the arguments came up was like, well, it's an FBI investigation, so Erika and TPUSA, they can't be going into the details of what they know because it's a constant, in which I totally understand. But that doesn't negate the fact that they actually said things that were false. Like, they lied. It's not like they didn't say something. They lied about many things. And so that's the part where you go like, well, now I have to stand back. This and the thing is, and I feel like everybody at TPUSA is incompetent. It seems everybody is incompetent, and Charlie was the only competent one, because they're all terrible at what they're doing right now. To the point where I have empathy for them. Like I want to go in and help them. Be like, you guys are really bad at looking genuine at all. And the problem is all of their talking points are directly against Charlie Kirk. Check this out. This is the thing that I kept seeing all over the place, and I was like, look, I know people have heard it, but we're going to play it anyway, just to again reiterate the point of why this isn't Candace's fault. Yep. This isn't people asking questions fault. This is their fault. Check this out.
Because I learned during COVID. I learned when they told us that it came from a bat in the Himalayas. I learned when they told us the vaccine was safe and effective. I learned when they told us that ivermectin was horse paste, that you better keep asking questions because it's the only thing that keeps us free. Thank you so much.
This is what I'm saying. They're so incompetent they can't even keep with what Charlie was talking about. Like you could TPS anybody in the organization, they could go, look, we gave all of our information. We want to know who did it. We assume it's this guy because the FBI, and we're going to go on our heels. Yeah, maybe we're going to go with what we have, which is at least we have an arrest of somebody. And we gave everything. We want we want the truth to come out. We're going to continue on with TPUSA and keep trying to win the midterms. Yep. Just so you know, we gave it all. We can't talk about a ton of it, but we'll do our best. And this is where keep asking questions because you just don't hear us doing it. Done. Wipe your hands, move on. Sell all your books, your Zionist books that you want. Go out there and say Shabbat Shalom everywhere. Do it all over the place.
Yeah.
You could have just said, keep asking questions, but we can't answer them because of investigations.
Yep.
That would have been it.
Yep. And the more you keep telling people not to ask questions, they're going to keep asking them.
Right? It's the Streisand effect. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. And it's not their fault that they're asking questions. The reason they're asking questions is because they care. You want people to care. You would hate for people to not care.
If you saw that clip, you wouldn't want him to die in vain like that.
Yeah. Exactly. So that was a clip. I thought we'd start that one off. Dude, did you see? So I have Tucker's response, and I thought it was pretty good. Do you want to check that out?
That was bomb.
What'd you say?
I said it was bomb. I saw it. It was great.
Okay. Yeah. Let's. It's long, so I'm not gonna play the whole.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to get to the point where it is.
In the 3 months since Charlie Kirk was murdered, I've really tried not to comment on the murder investigation in public, and it's not because I don't care, of course. I love Charlie and knew him well since he was a teenager. But I haven't said anything about it. I really tried not to say anything about it. First, because I don't really know anything that everyone else doesn't know. I've asked around, but of course, how do you know what the truth is? But the other reason I haven't said anything is because I know personally a number of the people involved in what's now become a very large story. I know them really well. And I really think a lot of all of them on every side. Candace Owens, I've known a long time. I love Candace Owens. Blake Neff at TPUSA once worked for me at a couple of different places, and I love Blake Neff. Erika Kirk, I've known since she was dating Charlie Kirk, and I love Erika Kirk. And I think these are all...
Do you see how he did that just now? Like, this is why people like Tucker. This is why I like Tucker. It's because he doesn't... This is not a got you. This isn't like an intriguing clip. This isn't someone exposing the truth. It's just him talking like you're at a coffee table dinner. You're having dinner with them. I just want to point that out. Like, this is how you hear this and you're like, yeah, I could understand his take's going to be genuine.
He's not dolled up with lights and cameras in front of him. He's got the phone down, looking up. He's clearly in his home or he's in a comfortable place. That already leans towards sincerity right off the bat. Instantly. And then again, not going. You see the remorse in his eyes too.
Yeah, and not going into take a side. You can tell he's like, look, I don't want to make things worse, but I've realized if I keep staying quiet, people are going to assume I think a certain way. So let me clarify, and that's all this is. So going. And now it's loading. All right, I'm not gonna deal with that if it's gonna load on me. I've got a ton of stuff going at the same time, so that's not surprising.
But yeah, those audience at home, definitely check out the clip. I think you pulled that from Twitter.
Yeah, I pulled that from Twitter. I liked it enough to where I bookmarked it because I was like, I want to bring it in. Let's talk about Erika real quick. I want to get past this because I pretty much have said my piece except for one other thing, and I want to bring in Erika because I do have a clip. And you can't have a partner live unless you just make fun of a grieving widow. Like, I feel like that's a requirement for this show. What's your thoughts on this? Speaking of incompetence, man, what are your thoughts on the Erika Kirk coming out, selling a book, and doing the Barry Weiss interview?
Well,
did you watch the whole Barry Weiss interview?
I watched clips of it.
Okay, yeah, me too.
I saw some of the standstill moments where she kind of pressed her on stuff to kind of elicit like a really, salacious response, and she kind of just shortchanged it. I think at the end of the day, I think two things can be true. I think she can be a grieving widow, but I think she can also be a narcissistic C-list actor.
Yeah.
And I think that with her parents having well established now intelligence ties and, backing from, other governments and stuff, I think even if she's not carrying water for another government, I think she can still be guilty of kind of ceding the ground to not protect her late husband and not doing what's best for him to keep him out of trouble.
So do you think
protecting him?
So you think she's she's above her head, right?
Well, yeah, I think she has no business being the CEO, the incoming CEO of Turning Point. I think that she should remain as a private citizen, grieving in the way that she should be. I think any other company, you wouldn't hire the widow of, the outgoing, husband or wife that just left the company, that passed away. You would hire another competent set of hands to run your organization, run your business. And I don't think she's in any situation, even if she was competent, she's not in any position emotionally, mentally, physically to do so.
Yeah, it seemed weird at the time. And again, they pulled that victim card of being like, you can't criticize her and you're like, well, yeah, I don't want to criticize. Even, everybody was like, no, I don't want to criticize Erika.
Completely above approach.
But the CEO thing is like, well, what am I supposed to do with this? And then as she goes and does the interviews, like, she's great as an interviewer for a mainstream, but anybody watching this is like, none of this seems like real. Like, you don't seem like a person anymore. And you would have been really good for you to not get in front of that camera, because the more we're seeing of Erika, dude, I thought when I saw her at the speech at Charlie Kirk's memorial, I was like, I guess that makes sense. I don't know. I've never seen her talking normal, so I don't know if it's any different what she said. So I just wrote it off as whatever it is. She's grieving. She lost her husband. She's giving a speech. That's pretty awesome. Good for her. She can get up there and talk without blubbering, into a microphone, blowing her nose. So good on her. And if that was the last I saw of her while she CO'd in the background, would have been fantastic. But all of the interviews she's doing, the more and more, even my wife, man, my wife was like, yeah, something don't feel right about that Erika.
My wife. I was
like, my wife.
Oh la la. Sorry.
I did. I watched some bull rat clips today too. Friggin' show never gets old. But yeah, she came out and I want to play this clip, dude, just so you can see. I played this clip because there's this person, my buddy Michael, he sent this to me. Hold on, let me pull this up real quick. He sent this to me and I was like, oh my God, I was trying to figure out where I saw what reminded me, what Erika Kirk reminded me of. And this friggin' nails it, dude. I was like, that's exactly what I was thinking of, because I've played this clip before on the podcast. So check this out. It's spot on, dude.
Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did. We wrestle not with flesh and blood.
Dude.
I saw that too. It's just spot on.
Spot on. Like, I get it's the blue eyes, but the pupils are real tiny, probably from lighting or whatever. I don't know. Could be something. Could it be demons? I'd like to assume not. But I played this exact clip a long time ago on the podcast because I was what was I doing? Oh, I know what I was doing. I was talking about DeSantis, and I said I think DeSantis is related. It's the illegitimate son of Kenneth Copeland because I thought they looked alike, so I had this clip. But now, dude, the Erika Kirk thing, it's friggin' creepy. And so even my wife saw this whole thing, and she was like, no, I don't have good feelings about her. And I was like, yeah, something, they should have not let her go out there. And my wife was like, it's the eyeliner. I was like, the eyeliner? It's not the pupils being pinholes? Like, what are you talking? But yeah,
right.
It's all of it. Anyway, not to continue. So do you got anything else on this, Erika? Any more suspicious? Because we do have a clip that you sent me. I'll stop sharing this. We have a clip that you sent me about I think I heard about some financial dealings, but I don't know if it has anything to do with Erika.
I know which video you're talking about. We could pull that.
All right, let's pull it up because I don't know. I haven't looked into a ton of this stuff. I'm not a giant Candace stan either. So I'm not a big Nick Fuentes, TPUSA, Charlie Kirk, or a Candace fan. I just feel like apparently these tie into everything. So let's take a look at this.
So as if this Erika Kirk saga couldn't get any stranger, the former Miss Arizona 2012 is probably waking up to a firestorm this morning, and it's not courtesy of Candace Owens. TPUSA's tax returns are public, and two major bombshells came from it. An almost $1.5 million payment for social media went to an empty parking lot.
I know it's my go-to to make fun of everybody, but it doesn't feel like this guy's struggling right now. Like he's struggling to get through each sentence.
It looks like Bunsen from the Muppets.
I was gonna say it looks like the cousin from Addams Family. What the hell? What is that guy's name? Cousin It? Is it Cousin It? No, that's the furry one.
Oh.
I forgot what it is, but that's who it reminds me of. And I feel like I know it's a hoodie, but it kind of looks like a monk. Like a monk shawl.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Like I'm expecting Gregorian chants in the background. Anyway, I know it's like our go-to, just like whoever's on the screen to just roast them, but it's true. It's true. Anyway, let's continue.
Also, reports are surfacing that there was a $20 to $30 million life insurance policy taken out on Charlie Kirk. And what makes even more unsettling news is now a resurfaced clip from Erika's Megyn Kelly interview where she claims in it the now famous billionaire donor meeting, that same meeting where Charlie was allegedly offered $150 million and a trip to Israel. Bibi himself was on the phone and asked Charlie in one of his first questions, what would TPUSA do if something happened to you? Now, in hindsight, that question sounds less like strategy and more like a warning. It also lines up disturbingly with what Candace Owens said, that Charlie told someone right before he died, I think I'm going to be killed. What's even stranger is Erika's claim that Charlie, a man known for saying that women should stay at home and raise the family, allegedly responded Erika would do a great job running it.
TikTok has two types of influencers. Two types. You have the jump cut, and then you have the clearly reading. And I can't get behind either one. Like I can't do the jump cuts where it's like, hi, my name, and then it clips and it's just cut to hell and back. And then this guy with the clearly reading exactly, he wrote all this out probably in ChatGPT and he's just reading it off. Oh man, either I'm just a jerk or this stuff bothers me. Anyway, back to the content.
Amazon.
Do you know what he's talking about?
Unbelievable.
This is my problem. It's like he's probably saying some serious, interesting things and some things that I should take note. And all I can focus on is how there should be Gregorian chants, and he's clearly reading the script that he wrote, probably with
his eye contact.
It's rough, dude. Why are people
over
bad
here,
at this?
over here?
And I guarantee he's doing a live stream right now and got way more viewers than we do. And he's just reading off a script he wrote for that live. Dude, maybe we should write scripts for the live. We should just be reading them off. Hey, Alex, what are we talking about today? What's that say? How was your week?
Yeah.
All right, let's continue with this clip.
And now she's the CEO of the largest youth political street team machine in America. Mix that up with Erika's background as a reality TV personality and beauty queen, her long-standing ties to Donald Trump, her mother's connections to Homeland Security, her father being knighted by the King of Sweden, and online chatter about her Romania Angels nonprofit and child trafficking allegations, and this is just getting crazy. Add in the fact that Charlie was assassinated shortly after he began questioning a foreign country's influence in U.S. politics, and the timeline becomes impossible to ignore.
Yeah, man. So that's another thing. Are we not supposed to ask any questions about this stuff because she's a grieving widow? Like, what do we do with this? What do you do? What do you do with this?
Well, it goes back to my initial point. It's like if she had receded into the background and she just stayed a private citizen, I don't think anybody would be asking these questions. She's continuing to give people fodder the longer that this investigation's open, and because of the more that she puts herself out there.
Yeah, I agree.
So the stuff with the inconclusivity with like Kash Patel's investigation and not giving Tyler Robinson a fair trial before basically preemptively convicting him, that stuff I don't put on her per se.
Yeah.
But even when asked about it, she could at least alleviate too. I remember when she was at the wake of Charlie, she did say like that she did give grace in forgiving the murder of her husband in kind of this weird like satanic kind of half-hearted cry, for help. It looked up to the heavens and basically flashed the horns.
That's I love you in sign language, but that's it's very similar. She might as well just done this. Yeah. Like you might as well at that point. Yeah. I'm again, it's one of those things where I don't fault. This is where it's hard. You're supposed to take a side. Alex, I don't know if you heard this, but you have to take a side in this war.
Oh yeah.
This is a major civil war. Every podcaster who has a show has taken a side. So it's our job to take a side now. And I can't, because I get why people are like, stop picking on a widow. Like, I get it. She's not as media savvy as I think assumes she is, or she's just like, look, I'm going to go out there. I'm trained a little bit. I'm going to give it the best shot I can. I haven't done this in a long time. My husband just died, but this is something I think Charlie would want me to do because he doesn't want me sitting at home and grieving. He would like me to be useful in this world and to continue. Like, I could see her thinking like, Charlie built this thing, and it's important that we keep it going for Charlie's sake, because I don't want his memory to fade with TPUSA. So I'm going to do absolutely everything I can to keep it going. Like, I could see that being and I totally back that. I back that. Erika, go out and do everything you possibly can. The only thing I would say is whoever's actually in charge of TPUSA needs to go and be like, I need you to do the best you can without being in front of a camera, because it's not doing us any favors. Having it right there in front.
Even if that being the story, like, wouldn't you want to comp the hands that you could give the grace and kind of anointing to that thing?
Yeah.
Instead of taking up the responsibility of being that person. That's what I don't understand. That's what doesn't jive with me.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And I guess the only argument was, well, this is what Charlie would have wanted, which brings me to my only other thing I wanted to ask you about. I want to get your take. Candace did say that she would stop doing all this if Erika asked her to stop. And Erika clearly did ask her to stop. And Candace's retort was said, Erika obviously was saying I should stop lying. And what have I lied about? Which I thought was a real chick thing to do.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, that's dumb. That's a stupid response. And I would assume, I think if this was, instead of women involved, that this was guys involved. Say it was like a friend of yours, say it was me and you were like, David, I need you to stop. Like, I would like you to stop now. I would say your wife got shot while doing This sounds awful. Your wife gets shot while doing a Utah Valley question and answer thing. And I'm like, Alex is being real suspicious. And all of Alex's crew and all of his things going on is real suspicious. I'm going to ask questions until Alex tells me personally to stop. And then I won't. If you came out with like, stop, I wouldn't keep going because I would have to assume as much as I, well, this is going to sound even worse. As much as I loved your wife.
Yeah.
I would assume that like, all right, so Charlie obviously loved his wife more than Charlie loved his wife, obviously, and he cares about his wife, and he chose his wife to be his partner in life. And if I was Candace and his wife, the person closest to Charlie, told me to stop, I would be like, okay, obviously, I'm going to take the assumption, even though after all I saw, I'm going to take the assumption that you care more about your husband and getting to the truth than I do, and you may know things that I don't. And I'm going to go and stop because I said I would, and you asked me to. Because at the end of the day, and this is where it goes to my last point. I know, dude, I ranted so much and I apologize. But this is something I've been thinking about a ton. The thing that kills me about this, even though I'm not a Charlie Kirk fan, is the guy spent his entire life, what little life he had, building this massive thing, this legacy that it is easily you could stand back and be very proud of. And it's crashing and burning. And if you think about it, it's you don't want I don't want my legacy if I ever have one to go down this rabbit hole. So I actually feel horrible for Charlie because I don't want this to happen. I don't like that this is happening. But at the same time, Charlie put all these people in those seats, man.
Yeah.
All of TPUSA, all the people that are fumbling the ball, he put them there.
Yeah.
This is kind of on him now. And if he's a dude, so if he was here, he would take responsibility for the choices that he made, putting those people in this position. And it's not Candace's fault, it's theirs. And again, I'm going to assume that Erika loves Charlie more than Candace does. And so if Erika stopped, then you just be like, yeah, I quit. I would, if this was a dude situation, I would assume dudes be like, all right, dude asked me to stop. I'm going to stop because, principles. Yeah, man. Sorry, that was a long rant. But I've been thinking a lot about this.
It's all great. It's all great commentary for sure. I'm with you.
Yeah. We got a comment coming. I want to read this up. Knowing what's real cannot occur. My new mindset is that this is a controlled presentation and emotions must be cast off quickly. Obey God, the law, and stay prepped up. This is from Armed Gardner. Knowing what's real, man, cannot occur. I totally get that. I totally get that. For the most part, because I don't think I'm assuming Armed Gardner saying this one, so hopefully I'm assuming this right. I'm assuming there's not a real way to you can put your chips on as much as you can know for what is real, but all of it does. We had this was our episode last week. Everything feels like a psyop at this point. So it's hard to even how much time do you take? How serious should we take this? Should we even done a live stream over the Charlie Kirk Wars? Is Charlie even dead? Is he even dead? That's kind of what it comes down to. What is real? What is real? That's really what we were all trying to say. To be honest, this whole entire episode was to say it was the Jews, and they were responsible and they control.
Yeah.
They control.
It was all one big lead up. You caught us,
dude. I think as far as the Charlie Kirk Wars, where I land is probably dead center. I don't know if I care enough about. I don't care enough about Candace, or any of these influencers or Nick. I like Tucker the most out of all of them, and I don't care about TPUSA. Really, I just care about the fact that a man's legacy is being destroyed, and that sucks. That hits home for me. That's about where it is. That hits home.
Well, yeah, and just the idea of knowing that he's got two young kids that don't have a father now. Really sad. But also, what they said in the immediate aftermath is like, oh, you've killed one Charlie, it's going to create 1,000 Charlies. But I think as far as we get away from this now, 3 months from now, I don't know if that's necessarily the case, because as long as this open case continues to persist and they're not getting conclusively to justice, on behalf of Charlie's passing. I don't know how much faith people are still going to have, particularly of a young audience, to have any faith in the justice system. So how can you convince those young people to take up arms, figuratively speaking, to start a protest on their own campus and start a dialogue with people the way Charlie did? I don't know if that's necessarily the case anymore.
That is a good point, dude. I heard a podcast, they talked about that too this week. Where the death of Charlie was supposed to create, I think it was Crowder talking about it, 1,000 more Charlies, and we're not seeing that. We're seeing the opposite. And I don't know if that's technically true. I think the part of Charlie Kirk that asked a bunch of questions, that was competent, that was ready to hear an answer that was good, that might actually change his mind, who was actually interested in what people had to say. I think that's going to continue. And I think that's going to start sounding a lot more. I think those voices are going to start sounding are going to start gaining more and more of an audience. And so I actually do think you could see 1,000 more Charlie Kirks pop up in that aspect, not the trust the government and that whole basic Charlie side where it's, the side that gave audience to boomers. That part might not be there. Right. But the part where they're like, sit down with lefties and have a conversation, that like Nick Fuentes talked about with Massey and MTG and Rokana wanting to get the Epstein files out. That's a Charlie Kirk kind of move. And so, I mean, not just a Charlie Kirk move. I'm just saying, like, you could see him being on board with that. And so I think there's plausibly 1,000 Charlie Kirks that woke up and are gonna do what Charlie Kirk is doing, just not at his scale, but on their own, because there's no way anyone's going to sit back and go, I want to build the new TPUSA. None of them are going to do that because they're going to be like, because I want to get shot in the neck. Like that's out of the question. But 1,000 people wanting to have more dialogue and answer questions, like Charlie did, I could see that happening. It won't look like TPUSA. It'll look more like Nick Fuentes and Dave Smith's and Tucker Carlson's. Those voices are just going to get louder, man. And it's not because they're raising their voices, because more people are listening to them. It's basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Which is a plus, man. That's, if anything, if I was Charlie, that would be the legacy I wanted to leave. The one where people are still asking questions, not taking the narrative at face value, and still want to give grace to people who have differencing of opinions, who disagree with you. Not say that they're evil or or they're trying to destroy your organization, or they're going to ruin the midterms, and not crash out on your live stream.
All that shit.
That's over with. If you do that, people are not settling for it anymore, dude. People are not settling for it. Yep. And so, good news, Alex. Sky's the limit for us, because everybody's crashing out online. We're not crashing out. We haven't crashed out yet.
We are ascending.
100%. We are ascending. I agree, man.
Yes.
Let's take a look. I got one more clip. I want to end the show. Speaking of like the back and forth and the constant war, it feels like we're in all the time. This is a cool art piece that you sent me. And it's like a time lapse of this one particular concrete wall with graffiti style going over and over of multiple different things that it looks like the city came in, wiped it away, and they came back. And it also looks like other artists have joined in and started to have a dialogue through this one mural piece back and forth, which is pretty cool. I do like that. Even if I agree with one side or I don't agree with the other side, I like the fact that they're going back and forth, and they're doing it in a public forum, and in a visible fashion. This is Charlie Kirk in a time lapse, or not Charlie Kirk, but his little questionnaire box at colleges. This is what this mural looks like to me. Let's take a look at this clip. I want to pause it because it sped through so many different aspects of this. Am I ruining the video if I pause and go through it?
No. I don't know.
So I can't read that. That's still too far away from it. At one point in time, it said too complex. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
And I like it. Oh man, I can't find it. We're just gonna watch it, but it does. I love that fact. Someone came in and just hashed it too complex. Like edit the message down a little bit more. and move this around. So I love this because it's Banksy style. It's that street art style. The only thing I like more about what I would have done with it, but it would have made no sense if that was a killdozer. That's the only thing I wanted. But I was like, that's out of context, so it doesn't.
A little too Americanized.
A little too Americanized.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I dug that. I dug that timeline. It's going back, but I think it finished off well. Do you think? I mean, again, I'm not even sure where that was. I'm assuming it was probably like. I have no idea. I have no idea where that was. Do you know where that was?
No, we'll do some follow up digging on that clip because I think it's fascinating. But just the substance of the video. I mean, we're both artists in our own right. We use a ton of different mediums, whether it's podcasts, it's audio, it's written word, or it's art, or visual art. I think it's so profound the way that some of the guerrilla warfare in our politics is being transmitted through the arts, and we're using more of our tools at our disposal to fight back. And I love this dialogue, this interplay from both sides and all sides in between to kind of comment on what's going on as it transpires. It really takes street art to a new level, and it's something that we can kind of revere, but also have kind of fun interplay with. Like if there was a way to play that at half speed, would be really freaking cool, so you could kind of get the full substance of the messages as they progress. And the fact that it's like it prompted like, oh, you can't do real art. It's like, okay, well, watch this. It goes to the guy in real time, basically redirecting all the energy that was transposed to that wall over time. And he put the Tiananmen Square mashup with the bulldozer. And it was just kind of like a signpost to like, remember how you're going to be looking back on in the history books when you remember this wall. And it's like, you're going to remember that you weren't the one standing in front of the bulldozer. You were the one in the bulldozer.
Yeah. Dude, you know what? The other thing that's really nice about this clip too is because it wasn't AI. And people keep saying like AI is going to take, it's not. AI is not going to take any of this over.
Can't do that. Nope.
No, it definitely can't. So I enjoyed that clip. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Dude, this was a great episode. I know I talked a ton, but to be honest, it's because I've been sitting on this for a while. And the Charlie Kirk legacy thing, and anytime someone says, "Hey, stop having that attitude towards something," bro, my red flags start popping off all over the place.
Yeah.
And I don't like taking sides because I think everybody is somewhat disingenuous in some form or fashion, or at least if I can read it, like the Tucker thing. He may be, I don't know what he's like in real life, but that video was authentic. Like I can just smell it. Like, yeah, okay, that was authentic. I don't like people tell me I can't do something. That's that freedom, liberty part in me. Like anytime you tell me I can't do something, I'm gonna do the thing just in spite.
Yeah.
So that's
our rebellion.
It is what it is. Don't tell me what to do, Dad. Don't tell me what to do, Dad. Anyway, dude, I hope everybody join, listen, go and like and subscribe to Pardonable Live. Whatever you're watching this on, hit a subscribe, hit a like button, share it with your friends. You can go to Instagram and check out Alex's Instagram page. It's in the show notes. You can see those right down there. Click that. You can find me at Pardonable Art. That's in the show notes as well. Alex, we coming back next week, 8:30?
Yeah, that's the plan. And to everybody out there, thank you guys for tuning in. We're really excited, as the duo here to bring you guys some really awesome content coming into the new year. We got some major upgrades, both on a merch level and just some more social media presence. So we're going to be in your eyes and ears. So just check us out. Thank you for supporting us.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. And y'all have a wonderful, blessed week. And we'll see you back here next week.